You may have heard the girl who said winning the lottery ruined her life and then tried to sue the lottery for it. Surely, if winning £1 million ruined your life, how is obtaining more going to help? People who don't have a lot of money usually think somehow dreaming about winning the lottery. Some lottery winners did a lot of different and interesting things. Some people choose to see the world, start a charity, or work toward long-term goals like buying their dream home or starting a business. However, other stories of lottery winners who found themselves in rough water after winning a lot of money. In this episode, here are some of the craziest things that lottery winners have done. Do you ever find yourself looking at the time while working from 9 to 5 and dreaming about winning the lottery? A lot of people think like that, right? Still, it's important to remember that getting rich quickly isn't always as good as it seems. Shakespeare said it best: more money, more problems. There are, in fact, many stories of lottery winners who found themselves in rough water after winning a lot of money. Get ready for a look into the lives of lottery winners who are so rich they can't help but spend all their money. Their stories may make you think. Get ready to be entertained by stories of people who wasted their fortunes on unnecessary crap, and people whose bad ideas and iffy morals caused their once substantial wealth to disappear quickly. Stay tuned, because next, we'll talk about the lottery winners who made the worst decisions ever. Jack the Good-Hearted. $314 million is a lot of money. In the United States, the normal life expectancy is around 76 years, so that amount equals a staggering $11,319 per day for a lifetime. One guy from West Virginia, Jack Whitaker, spent all of this huge wealth in just 4 years after winning the lottery in 2002. He started his problems by storing large amounts of cash in a bag in his car, which was a bad idea. To be exact, we're talking about a big $545,000 in cash. As expected, this caught the attention of thieves who were looking for a chance to steal, and they quickly took his money. For some reason, this wasn't the only time this happened. Other break-ins led to similar situations where cash was lost. When asked about his careless way of keeping cash on hand, Jack rudely replied, "Because I can." He has even been talked about in terms of stories about lottery winners who didn't make good decisions. But there are some good things about Jack's story. In spite of his flaws, he was incredibly kind. He gave 10% of his wealth to different Christian charities and even led the building of a multi-million-dollar church in West Virginia. Besides that, he set up the Jack Whitaker Foundation, whose goal is to help low-income families by donating food and clothes. He was so kind, or maybe just careless, that he did random acts of kindness, like driving his Lamborghini around his neighborhood and giving people lots of cash. Even though Jack was trying to be charitable, he couldn't help but enjoy the nice things that came with his newfound wealth. At first, he said that the money wouldn't change him, but he quickly gave in to temptation and spent a huge $50,000 on one night of fun. Some might say that this could also be seen as a way of helping others, but Jack's worst fault was his gambling addiction, which got so bad that he got sued by a casino for a huge $1.5 million debt he couldn't pay back. The lottery win only lasted 4 years before Jack lost everything. At the same time, his marriage fell apart, and many of his family members died from the dangers of sudden extreme wealth. While his last bit of money was running out, Jack said he wished he had never bought the winning ticket. To make things even worse, tragedy struck when his house caught fire in 2016, long after he had no more money. Sadly, Jack's story ended on a sad note in 2020 when he died of an unknown illness. His story is now used as a warning, a depressing reminder of the dangers that come with the lottery's alluring promise of quick money. The alimony phony. People often say that trust is the most important thing in a relationship. Without it, everything falls apart. This axiom came true in a harsh way for our first lottery winner, whose dishonesty left her with nothing. In 1996, Denise and Thomas Rossi seemed to be very happy with their 25-year marriage, but Thomas was in for a rude shock when Denise started the divorce process without warning. Thomas's snoring or messiness may have played a part, but soon they would find out that something they hadn't told each other was really the cause of their marriage problems. Thomas didn't know that Denise and her friends won a huge $6.6 million jackpot in the California State Lottery just 11 days before filing for divorce. Denise secretly saved $1.3 million for herself. It's possible that Denise, who was already unhappy in her marriage, saw her fortune as a way to get away. No matter what her reasons were, the divorce was finalized, and Thomas had no idea that his ex-wife was now very wealthy. But things got more complicated when the breakup was going on. Legally, everyone had to list their assets, but Denise purposely left out her lottery wins so she wouldn't have to share any of them with Thomas. There's no harm, no foul, right? Not right. 2 years after they got divorced, Thomas was still living in the house they shared together when he found a letter written to Denise about her lottery winnings. At first, Thomas didn't understand what was going on, but soon he did, which led to more legal fights between the couple who had broken up. In the end, the courts found Denise guilty of theft and gave Thomas all of her lottery winnings. Wow, that hurts a lot. Even though it seems like a harsh sentence, let it teach you a powerful lesson. Integrity is still built on being honest. The other option is that if you win a lot of money in the lottery, you might want to change all of your writing addresses right away. The Ghost Gambler. Christina Goodenow, who lived in Oregon at the time, won $1 million on a scratch deck lottery ticket in 2005. There weren't any happy parties after her win, though. Instead, there was a cloud of secrecy around it. In fact, there was something shady about the whole thing. To make matters worse, Christina was determined to keep her huge win a secret, telling lottery officials directly to do so. At the same time, police in the area were very interested in strange behaviors connected to a dead person's credit card. In the end, their investigation took them to Christina, who had been secretly using her ex-boyfriend's late mother's credit card to buy things, including her winning lottery ticket, which made it a windfall after the fact. Christina went on a spending spree that put her in a huge $12,000 debt, which she tried to pay off with her newfound lottery winnings. Even though she had a lot of money all of a sudden, the police were able to easily follow her fraud, which led to charges of forgery and theft. Christina insisted that she paid for the ticket with her own money, but the courts took her winnings and gave them to the local police force instead. Christina was going to lose her fortune and also have to do 2 years of probation and a month in jail. We can only hope that while Christina was in jail, the police used the money she got illegally to make the cells look better. Lady Fortune. As was already said, the odds of getting a big lottery jackpot are incredibly low. Depending on the lottery, the odds range from 1 in 170 million to 1 in 292 million. Despite these huge chances, one amazing person managed to beat them not once, but twice. Evelyn Adams, a dedicated lottery fan from New Jersey, was overjoyed when she won an amazing $3.9 million in October 1985. To her surprise, her luck kept going. After only 4 months, she struck gold again and won an extra $1.4 million. After getting a total of $5.3 million, Evelyn seemed like she would be able to live a comfortable life for the rest of her life. However, her huge wealth didn't last long. Evelyn invested in her daughter's education and started her own businesses, including a music shop, by choosing to receive $218,000 a year instead of one large payment. Sadly, these businesses didn't work out, and her savings started to run out. Evelyn had a lot of money problems, but she was also very kind to her friends and family, lending her money in ways that were often not returned because people took advantage of her wealth. Evelyn also had a hard time giving up gaming, which had helped her get rich in the first place. Over time, she started going to Atlantic City's casinos all the time and lost all of her money. By 2012, Evelyn had no money left. While there isn't much information about what happened to her after that, news sources say that she now lives in a trailer park. In a recent picture, Evelyn is wearing an outfit for working in food service and her face is not happy. To be honest, it's hard to blame Evelyn for not being happy. After being thrilled to win the lottery twice, only to lose it all, it's possible to understand why she's acting the way she is now, not so filthy rich. There may have been times when you were so close to something that you could almost taste it. In a figurative sense, it's an event that can be completely crushing the soul. Now, picture this. You win a huge $26 million jackpot, but someone cruelly takes it away from you. In 2021, this is what happened to an unknown woman from the US. Getting the $26 million in the lottery stated above was an amazing stroke of luck. In terms of odds, it's 250 times more likely that a rock will hit you than that you will win the lottery. But for this unknown woman, her lucky streak ended quickly when she threw her winning ticket into the washing machine by accident. After going through a full cycle, the woman's once promising fortune came out of the washer as a wet, folded piece of paper that couldn't be read. She was desperate to keep her lucky win, so she went back to the store where she bought the ticket in the hopes that surveillance footage would back up her story. Unfortunately, her efforts were in vain because the lotto company would not change their mind. They would not cash in on her lost or destroyed fortune without a clear picture of the ticket, front and back. When we think about this poor woman's situation, we can't help but wince with sympathy. Let her bad luck be a somber warning that doing laundry has never led to anything good. The mercenary Griffiths. History shows that money can be both good and bad. It can make people greedy and test the strength of relationships. This was clearly shown by Roger and Laura Griffiths, whose good luck quickly ran out after they won the UK lottery in 2005, leaving them mentally and financially broke. The couple, who got married in 1997, seemed happy at first. In 2005, though, they got a big surprise: £1.83 million. This changed everything. With their newfound money, they bought a lot of expensive things like a £800,000 house, a £28,000 Porsche Carrera, and a £24,000 Lexus 4X4. This showed that they quickly developed a taste for luxury. Along with expensive tattoos, cosmetic procedures, and shopping sprees at high-end luxury stores, these extravagances quickly ate up almost half of their money. Their extravagant way of life included 5-star holidays in Dubai, New York, Rome, London, and Monaco, where they stayed in the most luxurious hotels. But their wasteful spending had a very high price. By 2013, not only were their finances a mess, but their marriage had also fallen apart. The question that always comes up is, who is to blame for their failure? Laura says that Roger's wasteful spending, especially the money he spent on supporting his dream of becoming a rock star, was what brought them down. He allegedly put around £25,000 into bringing back his old college band for a recording project that he paid for himself. However, this didn't work out because the band's first song, released in 2006, only sold 600 copies. Roger, on the other hand, puts the blame on Lara, saying that her love of designer handbags and regular trips to Louis Vuitton led to the end of their marriage. In reality, it looks like both sides spent money without thinking, and they both blamed the other. It doesn't matter who was at fault. Their marriage ended, and now they only have divorce papers. By 2013, Roger was poor and living alone in a small house with only £7 in his pocket. Even though the ex-couple may not have made the best financial choices, it's understandable that they wanted to fully enjoy the life that their sudden income gave them. Their desire to be fancy might cost them their marriage, though, which might be too high a price to pay. It's a stark reminder that having a lot of money can ruin your relationships and health if you don't handle it carefully. As a symbol, let's scratch off another lottery ticket and get back into the fight. No way, Jose. If someone is close to you, you might think you can trust them, but when money comes into it, things change completely. Our next lottery winner found this hard truth out the hard way. In 2010, Jose Antonio Quatoc went to the store and bought a lottery ticket with his own money, saying that he was doing it for his boss. He had no idea that this seemingly harmless choice would set off a chain of events. It turned out that the ticket he bought won the jackpot, which was a nice $750,000. At first, Jose was thrilled about his good luck, but he soon ran into a big problem. He was an illegal immigrant from Guatemala living in the United States. Jose trusted his boss, Eric Cervantes, to cash the check for him because he was afraid of being deported if he told anyone about his gains. In what they thought was an act of kindness, they decided to split the money they won. But Eric's greed got the best of him when he cashed the check in public and then broke his promise to share the win with Jose. Because he was so angry about being betrayed, Jose took strong action and hired a lawyer. The case finally went to court, and just in time, the store where Jose bought the ticket showed surveillance footage that proved he was the rightful owner. With solid proof in hand, Jose was properly given the full amount of money, but because of all the attention the case got from the media, he was at risk of being deported, which was something he had always tried to avoid. Even though we don't know what happened with Jose's removal, it's clear that this whole situation could have been avoided. GA law doesn't require lottery winners to show proof of citizenship in order to get their prizes, as it turns out. Jose could have avoided the trouble of telling his boss about it and the possible loss of everything and removal by doing a simple search online. Being reminded of this is disturbing because it shows that people we trust can sometimes betray us when they see money. Mischievous Michael. My late Uncle Ben said something wise. Great power comes great responsibility. Michael Carroll from Norfolk, England won the lottery, but it looks like he didn't get the message. Instead, he spent his £9.7 million windfall on a storm of chaos and excess. Michael's rough childhood and image as a troublemaker in the area went before him. At the young age of 13, he was sent to Hollisley Bay Prison for shoplifting, which was a sign of the rough road that lay ahead. Even with these early failures, Michael was able to find steady work as a garbage man by 2002. He had no idea that his life was about to take a big turn for the better. He was lucky enough to win the lottery at the age of 19 and get a huge prize of £9.7 million, which is about $11.6 million. However, Michael's unchecked spending quickly turned this windfall into nothing at a frightening rate. At first, he made what seemed like a calm purchase in a £325,000 mansion near a beautiful lake, which would be perfect for his fishing hobby. That said, this semblance of peace quickly disappeared as Michael dove deeply into a vortex of chaos and indulgence. Michael spent a lot of money overnight. He admitted that he spent about £300,000 on wild parties and another £230,000 on alcohol to keep the party going. At the same time, he wasted an incredible £400,000 on expensive cars, which he carelessly raced before destroying them in his own garden in demolition derbies. Spending a lot of money on unnecessary things like jewelry and a stake in the Rangers football club added to his financial problems. He lost a staggering £3 million, but his outrageous spending was most obvious in the amount of money he spent on breakfast every day. This wasn't your average toast and bacon, but a Colombian-style breakfast that supposedly cost him a shocking £2,000 a day. Michael's lavish lifestyle was topped off by the fact that he often had what he thought were important business talks with women who worked in, to put it mildly, the friendliest job in the world. He is so proud of the fact that he has met over 4,000 workers in this field in just 10 years, as an example. That's what I call making connections. Michael says that more than half of his gains were given to friends and family, even though he spent a lot of money on himself. Still, the draw of indulgence was too strong for him to resist, and his wealth quickly disappeared. Reports from the BBC showed that Michael was quickly going bankrupt, just 4 years after winning the jackpot. By 2010, Michael was in a terrible situation and was desperately trying to sell his broken-down house to get money. However, the property sat on the market for a long time because of the damage his loud parties and race cars caused. This shows how bad his extravagant lifestyle was. Finally, in 2013, Michael's crazy misadventure ended with him going bankrupt. This was the end of his crazy spending spree. Surprisingly, he says he has no regrets, even though he has to do hard manual labor to make ends meet. He said it himself. It was the best 10 years of his life. It may seem crazy to waste such a large amount of money, but Michael's outspoken honesty and unwavering dedication to partying are inspiring. We will soon find out, though, that the bad things that happen after winning the lottery don't always end in such a happy ending. Bad luck, Bud. After a hard youth in which he lost his mother when he was young and was put in an orphanage by his father when he was only 8, Bud Postpath was not an easy one. As an adult, he worked in a lot of different jobs, from cooking to driving a truck for a moving circus. Each job added something new to his already interesting life. In 1988, though, he won a huge $16.2 million lottery win, which set off the real wild ride. With only $2.46 in his pocket before he won, it looked like Bud had finally struck it rich. Sadly, though, his lucky break only brought him more problems. You might ask why. Bud wasn't very good with money, to be honest. His winnings were set up so that he would get $500,000 every year. In just 2 weeks, he he wasted 2/3 of the first year's payment on expensive things like a restaurant, an airplane, and a used car lot, among other things. Despite being rich, he was shocked to find himself $500,000 in debt just 3 months after becoming rich. While later payments helped settle these growing debts, a troubling trend began to show. Every year brought new money problems that made Bud's problems even worse. In a fight, his on-again, off-again girlfriend, Ann Karpick, said she should get half of his money, which made things even worse for him. The main point of her argument was an apparently harmless event from their past, when Bud, who was poor, pawned a ring for only $40 and told Ann to use the money to buy 40 lottery tickets. They had no idea that one of those tickets would make their lives different for good. Ann said that she and Bud had agreed to take turns getting the lottery money. Even though Bud denied it, the court eventually agreed with Ann and gave her a third of Bud's winnings. Not only was Bud already in a legal battle, but his life took a dangerous turn when his estranged brother supposedly hired someone bad to kill him so that he could inherit his wealth. Thankfully, the attempt on Bud's life didn't work. Even with these challenges, Bud kept enjoying his newfound wealth by buying cars, a boat, and other properties. But by the late 1990s, he was in yet another legal mess, this time because of a fight with a bill collector. Bud's personal problems were made even worse by the fact that he had been married 6 times and lost everything in each one. Bud did something brave when he decided to avoid going to jail for 6 to 24 months because of his fight with the debt collector. He managed to avoid capture for 6 years, but was finally caught on a $260,000 sailboat. By the time his sentence was over, Bud was completely broke. He was living off of a small $450 a month disability check and owed more than $1 million. Because of Bud's rough journey, it's hard not to feel sorry for the huge problems he had to deal with. Although he got a lot of money, his life quickly became a mess of lawsuits, broken relationships, and financial ruin. In fact, one could say that his rough life events deserve a very high therapy bill. Wealth and welfare. The Social Security Administration says that a staggering 65 million Americans depended on welfare in 2021. Welfare is an important system that helps people who are in need, but sometimes even the rich try to take advantage of the safety net, as Amanda Clayton's case shows. In 2011, Amanda was a single mom who was having a hard time with money and was getting help from welfare. But things changed dramatically for the better when she won $1 million in the lottery, and her whole life changed. But Amanda's newfound wealth made her more greedy instead of making her feel safe and secure. Even though Amanda had a fortune, she kept getting $200 food stamps every month because she said she was entitled to them because she was still unemployed. But she didn't understand that being eligible for help depends on income, not just having a job. It wasn't a surprise that her lies were finally found out, which led to her arrest and a 9-month probationary period. Also, Amanda was told to pay back $5,500 in food and medical aid she had wrongly claimed. Even though Amanda did bad things, her story ended in tragedy. She sadly died at the young age of 25, just 1 year after winning the lottery. She gave in to the bad habits that often get worse when people get a lot of money all of a sudden. Her story is a powerful lesson about how important it is to be careful when you win the lottery. Even though stories like Michael Carroll's are interesting, Amanda's story shows how sudden wealth can put people at risk for temptations and traps that have terrible results. Young money. A person's brain doesn't really develop all the way until they are about 25 years old. The warning tale of Michael Carroll shows that winning the lottery when you're young can have terrible results. Take Callie Rogers, 16, who won the lottery and is Britain's youngest winner. In 2003, Callie Rogers became famous when she won £1.8 million. Like many other lottery wins before her, she promised to be careful with her money and not spend too much. But because things tend to repeat themselves, Callie's financial path followed a well-known path. Over the next few years, she allegedly spent £300,000 on designer clothes, went to expensive parties, and gave expensive gifts to friends, family, and romantic partners. A lot of money was also spent on cosmetic surgeries. However, Callie's quick rise to fame was followed by an equally quick fall into debt. By 2009, she was broke and had to move back in with her mother and make ends meet by doing cleaning jobs. Callie says she's happier now that she doesn't have to worry about money, even though she knows that it causes a lot of stress and makes people more likely to do bad things after winning the lottery. However, her life since then has not been easy. Even though she was in school to become a social worker and had 4 children, she got into trouble with the law in 2020 and was banned from driving for 22 months for driving while drunk. During her arrest, she showed signs of being upset and tried to fight the police, which was similar to the rash things she had done before. Since she has a history of uncontrolled spending that cost her her millionaire status, this behavior may be seen as similar to what she has done in the past. Regardless, it is a powerful warning of the dangers of sudden wealth and how important it is to be careful and responsible when handling it. Charity conundrum. Most people get excited and look forward to the chance to become millionaires just thinking about it. On the other hand, 65-year-old Marva Wilson showed an amazing amount of calm and wisdom when she got a nice bonus of $2 million in 2008. The grandmother from Missouri carefully planned to use some of her winnings to pay for her granddaughter's college schooling while setting aside a small amount of money each year for her own needs. Unfortunately, Marva's kindness turned out to be her downfall when she fell for a complex scam set up by Freya Pearson, a single mother without a job who depends on welfare. At first, Freya seemed friendly and trustworthy, so she quickly became friends with Marva and started tricking her into taking money out of her lottery wins to support Freya's non-profit charity, Recidivism at Work. Based on Freya's impressive performance, Recidivism at Work was supposed to help at-risk young people with criminal records by giving them chances to not commit crimes again and helping them find jobs. Marva didn't know it, but the charity was just a front for Freya to steal money for her own benefit. Even though Marva wanted to be kind, she was tricked into giving a huge $480,000 to Recidivism at Work, which paid for Freya's expensive lifestyle of gaming, traveling, driving fancy cars, and wearing designer clothes. In the end, Marva's bad luck with money led to her filing for bankruptcy, while Freya's dishonest plan was found out when the financial authorities followed the paper trail. Through her dishonest actions, Freya was punished in 2017 by getting 5 years in jail without the chance of parole. She was punished for taking advantage of Marva's trust and money by being charged with wire fraud, money laundering, and tax dodging. But there is still the fear that once Freya gets out of jail, she will go back to her old dishonest ways, leading to more crimes, which is odd given the name of her fake charity. After this, my valued colleagues, we will close the discussion for today. Please tell me, which person, in your opinion, behaved in the worst way after winning the lottery? If the stars align and a similar blessing comes your way, what changes would you make to your plans that you think are smart and wise?